I tried to cut off at the like the perfect time. I tried to cut it off at like the perfect time. So interesting note. I guess I had some leftover points, so I just bought the chapter before we even started. Damn. I guess that happened. Hello. How's everybody doing? It is a Tuesday. Shit's exciting. Holy crap. I'm excited for this chapter. Are we gonna get the crash out thing I've predicted? I don't think it's gonna happen in a single chapter, but are we getting that crash out I predicted? I'm doing good, Proxima. How are you? How are all of y'all doing? Gotta wipe my nose a little bit. Excuse me. You guys don't need to see that. You don't need to see that. Anyhow, okay. Okay. No, I'm not reading anything. I'm not reading anything in relation to the chapter. I will read all of that after the chapter. So sorry, Aaron. I know you had something to say, but we're gonna get into the chapter now. Remember, guys, the teaser for this chapter was maybe. Yes, the key word for today is maybe. So let's get into it. Okay. Or actually, let's. Okay, so or actually, another thing I want to point out, there were some strange choices with the English localization. She doesn't say or actually. She says I think or actually maybe or but isn't the right word, or actually but is not the right word. Something along those lines. So the or actually isn't quite accurate. Interesting visual. You have the moon. You have all this. Rating 379. My girlfriend loved 28. I'll have to check what this says. There might be some meaning behind showing these two particular towers that are uneven, and one has the moon on one side. Granted, Kazuya is taller than Chizuru, so this might actually be the more accurate heights. Anyways, well, actually, she started off saying but now it's actually. Chizuru is such a fucking roller coaster, dude. She's such a fucking roller coaster. She'll go from like making you feel like you're gonna fucking die to wait, what? What? In romance reality shows, compliments followed with but always end in rejection. But what about actually? I hate how that sounds in a sentence because we know what that means. This could be a good thing. Does that mean it's okay? What is this? What's happening? Where is this actually going? Sorry, I need a moment. So this was the thumbnail. Oh my god, look at Kazuya. Yeah, right? Right? I think it's so thematically fitting that her eyes are like closed while she's taking a breath versus Kazuya who's like staring at her, and look at him like actually almost falling apart. Like the way the line work is literally falling apart. I see. Isadora is doing her best too. I'm sure she has been worried about I'm sure she's been worried about everything, trying to put it into words and taking it seriously until now. That alone makes me happy. I was just thinking about how I haven't thanked you. Huh? Thanked me. Thank you for falling in love with me. Damn. Damn. Wait. This is gonna shut the Mizuhara people up. This is gonna shut the Mizuhara people up because everyone's like, oh yeah, he just loves Mizuhara. He doesn't love the real her. She literally just acknowledged it. The Chizuru in shadows. Literally, she is in shadows and light is like shining onto her, is saying thank you for falling in love with me. Not Mizuhara, not Ichinose, thank you for falling in love. This is literally Reiji like, yo, shut the fuck up. Look at this handsome, sexy boy. Look at how, oh my god, literally the line work came back from panicked to relaxing to charmed and relaxing. Now he's a handsome little dude. I love him. I asked so many times why, but I just thought I should thank you for feeling the way that you do about me. Wait, there's an interesting panel structure. Have you guys noticed the intentional panel structure he's going for? They're all rectangles. Like that they're like structured like this. Literally like the buildings we saw in the opening. Interesting. There it is again. But now in reverse. Right? They're I'm glad. Wow. Wow, this shit's fucking ethereal. This shit's fucking ethereal. There it is. That one word is making all the things feel worthwhile. I think about it every time I look at the ocean. Has it really been 2 years since then? Do you remember when the two of us were rescued together at Shimada? Oh, of course. I'll never forget anything that I've done with you. A lot has happened. I never imagined this is where we'd be 2 years later. I had never even dreamed of it. Now I wonder if I had already fallen in love with her back then. I'm grateful to you. It was rocky at the start, but I probably wouldn't have been able to show Grandma that movie if I'd never met you. You supported me during hard times and sad times. You stayed by my side. This past month, too. That house should have been too big for one person. It was kind of fun having you and Mini-chan there. Since that one time, I haven't cried. Since that one time, I haven't cried, right? Damn. I adore her. I want to date her. I want you. Okay, it's gonna start now. It's gonna start now. I'm feeling it. It's gonna start now. As a rental girlfriend, I had always thought that it was wrong to fall in love with a client. It's obviously against the terms. Most of all, I never thought I could allow myself to be someone's girlfriend. I could never allow myself to be someone's girlfriend. I'm not allowed to feel this way. God, the fucking panel structure is driving me crazy. Why is it structured like this? What happens at Hawaiians really made me think. Why did I do something like that? There had to have been other ways to handle it. But this past month, the more I've gotten to know you, I've realized something. Was I right about like my theory when I was reading it on Twitter where I said it feels like this is Chizuru confessing and not Chizuru giving an answer, which makes a lot more sense when you see the structure of this chapter, hence why she's almost preparing for rejection? I don't know. Let's see. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass because like we're not getting the full story. I think that I might be in love with you. Might, huh? Wow. But what's the but, Chizuru? What's the but, Chizuru? But I think that something is weird. It's peak, but something is weird. Something is off. The reminiscent, the coming full circle. What's the but? What is the but? No, I'm not saying she's not serious. I'm not saying she is not serious. I'm saying something feels a little strange. And I can't pin it down. Yeah, no, Chizuru is calm. But something is weird. Something about it, like there's a climactic element to it, but there's something. It feels like we're supposed to hear more. There's more. I feel like there is more. I think that I might be in love with you. Like the words we've been waiting to hear this whole fucking time. And again, he does it again. He does it fucking again. He does it again. Every end of the chapters. This chapter. Let's go to the last one. Look at the fucking panel structure. What about the fucking one before that one? Look at this fucking panel structure. He keeps doing it. Why? Why does he keep fucking doing it? The yin and yang. I get it. The completing each other thing, but he keeps fucking doing it. He keeps fucking doing it. Does he do it in 376? No. Okay, it's not in 376. It started in 377, and he's been doing it since. Literally every chapter ends the same way. With this exact panel structure. It is intentional. And then the way their emotions are shifting, right? Like you have the first one, Kazuya is calm, cool, collected. She's emotional. Okay. Then we have Chizuru kind of blushing, but slowly drifting to calm, cool, and collected, whereas Kazuya is like cracking apart. Then you get to this one. Chizuru is calm, cool, and collected, but she's expressing that in a very like who says love you like she says I love you. Doesn't it feel a little strange the way she's saying I love you? And then you have Kazuya like getting more handsome by the second, but also kind of blushing. And we haven't heard a single word from him. Speaking of which, for all those people from last chapter saying, "Oh, we shouldn't have heard Kazuya's feelings. It should have been all about Chizuru." Well, here you go. There is so much Chizuru in this. It's not even like subtle. Also, we're literally not hearing her thoughts. Reiji is intentionally structuring this in a way that we're not hearing her thoughts. I also want to point out how we're seeing the water behind her, whereas with Kazuya, we are seeing the sky consistently. Every single time, we keep seeing the sky with Kazuya, whereas Chizuru is the water, perfectly matching the theme of yin and yang, how she is the literally the ground or the ocean to his sky. I think that's a very interesting visual Reiji's continuously going for. Like, what the fuck? What is going on? No, I'm kind of still sticking to my theory a little bit. So she gave her answer, which kind of upended the initial theory of crashing out a little bit that we had last chapter when we were doing that full stream. So I kind of knew this. I kind of knew we would get some sort of answer. Reiji, listen to me. You got season 4 with 2 parts. I want them to be official now. Chizuru confirmed. Don't betray us. I think they're gonna be a thing, don't get me wrong, but something is strange, right? And it's like I told you guys, like the last chapter was meant to elicit fear from you. Oh no, what if she turns him down? And we all know that's not gonna fucking happen. She literally said, I cannot reject him, therefore you probably want to be with him. But okay, first, I'm gonna look at the Japanese and send the Japanese to my friend. Is it too clear that Chizuru never has been in love before? Not in this way. Like, this is like, deep love. That's like, complicated, unconditional love that is layered. Like, and there's a lot to talk about in this chapter, but I'll reread it in just a sec. I just gotta send my friend the Japanese text to see what the next time is, to see what all of that stuff is. So let me. This chapter feels empty somehow. It does not feel empty. It does not feel empty, but it doesn't feel complete. I think that's what it is. And that's a stupid fucking statement to make if you think about it. Of course, no shit, it doesn't feel complete. You got left on a fucking cliffhanger. No shit, it doesn't feel complete. But no, it's how it's playing out that doesn't feel complete. Something about it is a little strange. I think it's because Chizuru has to, I think this is the part that, I think conveys my feelings perfectly. It's the fact that Chizuru has to control her feelings when saying this, in contrast to Kazuya, who is freaking the fuck out. Right, you have Kazuya, who is literally freaking the fuck out, in contrast to Chizuru, who's saying, I love you. You think there would be a little more freak out from Chizuru, but no, in the start of the chapter, it literally starts with her she's panicking, she's not conveying her words correctly. Why does she need to convey her words so correctly to say, I love you? That's a little strange, right? Doesn't that feel a little strange? I get it, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like she's composing herself she's putting a reverse armor, if you will, to convey her feelings, and that's a little strange. Let me grab these. I gotta go to Twitter and send it to my friend so he can tell me what the hell these says. Cause excuse me, this is fucking what? What's with the towers? What is with the towers? What is going on with the towers? She is an actress. Yes, exactly. But you shouldn't really, something about it is weird, especially considering how well we've seen Chizuru up until this recent point. And the fact that she is acting isn't a good thing. She shouldn't really be acting when talking about love. And I don't think she's acting. I don't think she's acting. That's not what I feel when seeing this, but I do feel something is strange. And this is why I feel like there's a butt coming, right? I feel like there's a butt coming. So okay, I sent them all to my friend. Now I'm gonna read the chapter like this because it feels like it's structured like this. Do you see the structure? How very intentional it is that like you have these two contrasting elements connecting at a middle point. Like it feels very intentional that like visually standing, he's structuring it like that on purpose. Look, oh my god, look at this. Look at this. Look at all of this. Oh my lord. And the intentional callback to Shimura when they go to the beach, that's a very intentional callback considering he made it earlier. Like when Chizuru asks about like this entire date is influenced by that. This entire date is influenced by that because when Chizuru like and Kazuya go there, like he references mommy directly with that. He literally has mommy call in this arc. He references the how many kids you want question directly from that, which is like literally from that entire sequence. The entire small date that we see between Kazuya and mommy during the beach arc is literally directly a nod to that. So Reiji is directly nodding to that arc, and what that arc means for the characters. Faye, I'm at work, can't read manga now. What happened? Chizuru told Kazuya, "I think I might be in love with you," like right here. Chizuru literally said that right here. I think I might be in love with you. But I'm saying, like, this is a hype moment for a lot of people, I bet. But I'm saying something feels a little strange, and I can't quite pin it down. We were talking about how, like, the structures here feel very similar. I actually want to hear what the Japanese fans feel about this chapter. Yeah, I bet they're just excited. I bet they're just excited, but I'm gonna take a bet and say most people aren't feeling the same way I'm feeling. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But like the way Reiji builds it up and structures it, he's hyping you up. He is hyping you up, right? Like, look at my handsome boy. I think it's intentional that Kazuya starts looking more beautiful and charming as Chizuru starts talking more about him. I think that's a very intentional move. We're seeing like Kazuya look like this initially, while we're not seeing Chizuru's eyes. And the more we see Chizuru, the more Kazuya starts to look more handsome, as if he's literally. It's almost like we're hearing her talk about him, and he is literally becoming cooler and cooler as she's talking about him. That feels like what the chapter is saying, right? It feels like that's what the chapter is saying. The more she talks about him, the cooler he gets. Especially consider look at this too. Kazuya is constantly in light and Chizuru is like almost constantly in shadow. And like Jesus, she is ethereal. She's a moon goddess, dude. She is glowing here. And Kazuya, in contrast, is becoming more handsome in these sequences. Okay, let's put up the English chapter again. Let's go through this carefully. Okay. Or actually. And then Kazuya keeps thinking, and she went silent, right? Like she went silent and it was weird, and she knew she was fucking up. And she had to turn around. Sorry, I need a moment, right? I think that's kind of an important moment to see how human she is. I think what you should do. Actually, I want to hear what the Japanese. Okay, sorry to be such a pessimist, but I have a bad feeling about this. I don't have a bad feeling about this. I don't have. I'm gonna clear that up right now. I do not have a bad feeling about this, but it's meant to make you feel uncertain. Something feels weird. I think if you just read this and get hyped the moment you read it, like most people would when they read this chapter, then you probably wouldn't catch this weird underlying feeling that Reiji has been cooking in the background, right? Something is strange. Okay, I'm gonna look through. I'm gonna look through Twitter. I'm surprised. I hope Twitter's like popping off. So here's one Japanese fan. I'm not interested in the future changes in college, but what was he? A beautiful girl doesn't like me. Okay. I'm filled with the feeling that I've come this far. This is what this one Japanese fan said. I've come with feelings that I've come this far. Yeah, I think that's the feeling Reishi's trying to elicit from us. This feeling of like we've gotten so far, we've reached such a far point. The fact that I was able to say this to Kazuya is worth it in itself, even Sumi used the words concerned. Okay. Anything else from anyone else? Any other Japanese fans? The girl's senses are broken. She spends money to... No, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, there isn't much from the Japanese fans at the moment. I think we streamed a little too early. That's why we're not going to see anything at the moment. Kazi is being rewarded for his love. Yes, and I think that's weirdly maybe part of the issue. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that's a problem to like reward the person you love, but I think that's maybe the focus for Chizuru. She's trying to make sure not to convey like love to Kazuya without hurting him, but I think that's where it lies. Chizuru is not showing her. I think I'm starting to get it. The issue I have is it feels like Chizuru isn't showing herself completely. There is more there. There's something else there that we're not seeing clearly. And I think we have yet to fully see that. And that's why I think like I'm still somewhat kind of comfortable with the idea that there might be a fight, despite the fact that this chapter definitely makes you think there isn't going to be a fight. It feels transactional, even. I don't know if it feels transactional. I think it feels formal. It feels a little formal. I see Mizuharu's doing her best too. I'm sure she's been worried about everything, trying to put it into words, right? How worried about, right? So why would you be worried if you think you're in love with the person? Right? Like, why would you be worried about that? Because that's the result both like he wants. But something is off. She's not exposing herself fully like how Kazuya does. Yeah, Chizuru hasn't reached that point where she's fully comfortable with that, and I think she's getting there. I think Chizuru is slowly building to showing herself here. And taking it seriously until now, that alone makes me happy. I was just thinking about how I haven't thanked me. Thank you for falling in love with me. That's such a... I think this is the best line in the entire... This line is, to me, I think this line, to me, is both the best thing about this chapter and also the highlight of what might be the problem. Why? Thank you for falling in love with me is a very powerful line because it's literally Chizuru telling everybody who's said up until now he's in love with Mizuhara, shut the fuck up. He's clearly in love with me, right? Like me as a whole, not Mizuhara, not Ichinose. Right? Like she says me, she doesn't say anything else. Thank you for falling in love with me. However, the next time for this chapter, affection. Wait, that does make sense. Chizuru feels like, okay, what did I say was missing in the end of this chapter? If you are correct in the next time being affection, what did I say is missing in the end of this chapter? What is wrong with Chizuru here? What is Chizuru not showing here? What is Chizuru not showing here? That's right. That she is very controlled, very lacking in emotion in this, right? Some of you even said she's kind of like a robot. There are blushes, but she is very controlled. What did Chizuru do at the start of this chapter? She took control back and made sure she conveyed herself properly, right? But what did we say felt like was missing? This emotion. She talks about an emotion, and yet she looks stone cold, right? Like she talks about an emotion, but she looks stone cold in contrast to Kazuya. Maybe not stone cold, but like her expression is very controlled, right? Like there is, for someone saying I might be in love with you, you're not sensing a lot of emotion here. You're not sensing a lot of affection. Now, what did Chizuru say when she was talking to Minnie about Ruka? She said that she didn't feel that she said, I feel jealous of Ruka because she can be so passionate. She can be so affectionate. I am jealous of that. I feel like I don't do that. But that's a facade she's created for herself, right? I've mentioned many times that a huge theme in this arc is the idea of illusions, that there is a lot of illusions in this arc of things both the characters are not saying, things we're not seeing, we're being like misled and tricked in ways that was not visually clear to us, but the pieces are there if you pay attention. I think that element of the illusion is literally here, especially considering how Chizuru is seemingly hidden in shadows as she says this, right? Like for someone saying, I think I might be in love with you. She's hidden in shadows, and the shadows are Chizuru's territory. Next time, affection have a soft spot for you. Okay. Where did you get this, Lawless Bacon? You can be passionate and shallow at the same time. There's still a depth with Chizuru in comparison. Yes, no, Chizuru is not shallow. I'm not saying Chizuru is shallow. Don't misinterpret my words. Chizuru is not being shallow. Season 1, episode 12, Chizuru edition. You mean when Kazuya confessed and then took it back? No, this doesn't feel like that. I feel like people probably expect Chizuru to go tomato mode on her confession, but it is in her personality that she's calm. Not quite. Not quite. I think Chizuru is quite affectionate, but she has conditioned herself to be calm for a very long time, and I think she it's hard to explain. Being calm is part of Chizuru, but being calm is also somewhat of a facade for Chizuru because it's how she stops herself from getting hurt. It's how she stops herself from being hurt. It's a wall. It's both part of her personality and a necessary part of who she is, but it's also a wall, right? And I think this is Chizuru slowly trying to reconstruct the wall to have that part of her almost be accepted. I think Chizuru wants acceptance, and maybe that's why she presents it like this. Maybe that's why she says it like this, not in an affectionate way, because she maybe wants this part to be accepted. Feels like she's just being appreciative and wants to return the favor by telling him what he wants to hear. You see, that's a part of it, I think. I think that I genuinely believe that's a part of it because I've said this before. I predicted this earlier, much, much earlier, like super early into the date, where I literally said it feels like Chizuru is putting on the act of being super happy and go lucky around Kazuya to be, ironically, the perfect girlfriend, but her real self. And in so doing, what she was doing during the date, she didn't realize she was doing. She's kind of robbing Kazuya a little bit of agency in that time. So now it's kind of the reverse of that, where it's Chizuru slowly over the date came to realize how to find a balance in how she was presenting that. But now it's like kind of not reversal, but coming for full circle with that, where everything is starting to become clear. I think the clarity, us seeing the ocean, the clarity of that is very important here. I think her sense of duty is overriding her emotions. Yes, correct. I literally said this. I'm pretty sure I said this. Yes, her sense of duty feels like it's kind of overriding her emotions. That is reflective in the flashback that we had, where it's like you gotta, to tell the truth, to tell the like put things clearly. That's what her grandmother told her. I think the issue is that Chizuru is very independent. Like she don't need anyone to support her, but Kazuya helped her, and she maybe thinks that her feelings came from gratefulness. Not completely. No, I don't think that's completely true. Chizuru is very independent, and it's a good thing that she is. A lot of people like don't remember to be independent and lose a lot of track of that, I think. But you have to understand being independent and not needing anyone are two different things because there's no such thing as not needing anyone. Chizuru does need people. She straight up admits it in this chapter. Where was it? Right here. You supported me during hard times and sad times. You stayed by my side. The past month, too. That house would have been too big for one person. It was kind of fun having you and Mini-chun there. It almost talks like they're going to leave. Right? Isn't that still implying that they're going to leave, despite the fact that Chizuru clearly wants him to stay? Right? So there's this underlying tone of you're going to leave or something like this is going to end. She keeps having that undertone of this is going to end. Right? And then you have Kazuya saying, I want you. Eyes closed. Look at this. Eyes closed in shadows, light behind her, eyes wide open, facing her, completely illuminated. There it is again. Eyes wide open, eyes closed. Again, shadows, eyes not visible, eyes completely visible, illuminated in light. In shadows, eyes open, Kazuya's back, his back is shadowed. He's not visible. And then both of their eyes are now open, looking directly at each other. I think whatever Chizuru's gonna say next time, she's not fully committed to what she's saying. Yes, I think so. I believe this. I don't think Chizuru's fully committed to what she's saying, which is very fucking ironic considering she's saying. Oh, actually, it's literally there. I might be in love with you, not I am in love with you. She has no certainty in these feelings. I think I might, right? I think I might. That's not certainty. That's uncertainty. And yet, she's saying these words, right? So something is wrong here. It's literally the scenario I was explaining, isn't it? Isn't this literally what I was explaining? I think I might. Remember when we were talking in our analysis, in our deep analysis stream, where I was literally talking about how like I think Chizuru might not give a clear answer. Like I said she might not answer or she might not give a clear answer. Why do you think she might not be sure? Chizuru has always been confused about her feelings, and a part of it is she's kind of like not allowing herself to feel, right? Like I think Chizuru has not let herself feel because she has there's layers to it. There's a lot of layers to it. So you have depression, right? You have the element of depression. That slowly started to fade. But I think the overlooming feeling that's stopping her from feeling is grief. I think Chizuru, when she feels grief, she kind of tries to push herself away. And I think Chizuru is still struggling with the grief of loss from her from her grandmother, from her parents, right? And now that she's found a new family, she isn't fully comfortable yet, fully expressing that love. She can tell them she cares about them and they help her, but she isn't fully like there yet to fully open up. And I think now that I've reread The End of Paradise, so much of this is recontextualized to me. So let me pull up The End of Paradise for you. Just to show you what I'm talking about. The End of Paradise, if you read it now and in comparison to what has occurred with the events of the story, it makes so much more sense, right? Like, look at this. Chizuru is swimming in the water. She is freaking losing it. She thinks about kissing and she kisses her legs. Come on, it's nothing like that. Okay, so let's read what Sayuri says. A moment when love takes root. Do you know about it? It's when talking about that person fills you with laughter and joy. Come on, it's nothing like that. Didn't I tell you? Because I can't, I shouldn't fall in love with a client. This implies she knows she's in love, and yet she's stopping herself from doing so, right? She can't let herself be in love. And then she literally echoes these exact words in here. She says this. Like, where is it? What is it? As a rental girlfriend? It's obviously against the terms. Most of all, I never thought I could allow myself to be someone's girlfriend. I'm not allowed to. And yes, so do you notice how there's constant implications that she wants to be, but but it's going to end? So like we said this earlier, like we were reading this, we have this mini portion. It was kind of fun having you and Mini-chan there, like it's going to end. Then she says, most of all, I never thought I could allow myself to be someone's girlfriend. I'm not allowed to feel this way. So that tells you like why Chizuru feels like she's not there yet. And what happens in Hawaiians really made me think, why to do something like that? There has to have been other ways to handle it. But the past month, the more I've gotten to know you, the more I've realized something. I think I might be in love with you. Okay. But something is weird about that, right? It's like, I can't allow myself. This is going to end. Like, do you see the mixed signals you're getting? And it's very intentional to convey Chizuru's confusion as a character. That she is grappling with more than we realize. She's grappling with like an element of grief and confusion. Like, here, like I think this is a really good visual from the Hawaiians arc. I just noticed it right now because she just mentioned Hawaiians. So let's pull it up. Do you see the intentional contrast? Upwards and hopeful, looking up, lit and alive, downwards, shadowed, very emotional, very like closed off, looking away, right? Very, very invisible. But while Kazuya thinks of only her, she thinks of her grandmother. I think that's really important, that Chizuru is still stuck on the people that she's lost. She's still stuck in the past, that she cannot fully visualize the future. In fact, she literally can't look at the future. The light is shining onto her and she cannot look at the future. She can only turn to her past. She literally speaks to her past, in contrast to Kazuya, who looks up hopefully at his future. That's really important for a character who is grappling with grief. It's a very good conveyance of grief and like how that affects you as a person. That Chizuru didn't just magically overcome her grief after the cheer update. That didn't just happen. Most of the Paradise arc is about grief. Most of the current arc is literally about grief. Like that's not was like, most of this has been about grief, and I think Chizuru just needs to kind of accept that and let it go, right? I think Chizuru has not been able to let go of her past to accept her present. I think that's the biggest thing, is that Chizuru keeps talking about all this stuff, but almost all of it is rooted in the past, right? She's just like refusing to live in her present. And I think, oh wow, that's such a good visual. These words are intentionally placed where her bosom or her heart is, right? I think that's a very important visual conveyance that Reiji is showing here. Whereas you see the words floating around Kazuya, these words are floating literally at her heart. As a rental girlfriend, I had always thought that it was wrong to fall in love with a client, right? So, and that's saying as if it's changing. These words were like close to her heart. That's what she's always believed up until this point. And yet, right? And then the light slowly illuminates, and then we see Kazuya. I think that I might be in love with you, Viv. Wow, there's so much there. She definitely. Oh, let's see. I'll read from here. I imagine if she says we need physical connection. That's kind of funny you mentioned that, Adamaton, because what have they not done this entire arc? What is the thing Kazuya noticed 2 chapters ago? They have not held hands. They have not touched intentionally. So that's something they have literally not done. So that's something that, wait for it, Minnie literally predicted would be the resolution to this arc. Minnie literally said multiple times to Chizuru, just kiss him. You two should just kiss and you'll find out. And what is the thing they're not doing? They're talking, they're not kissing. Which sounds dumb, right? It sounds dumb considering what the story is talking about, but I think that is also part of what the story is talking about. That you need to both just talk it out, understand each other, reach a clear understanding, which they have done, but you also need to just fucking kiss and get it over with and just let your emotions out. Let's see. Or do you think it's because she might not feel comfortable or deserving of Kazuya's love? I think that's a part of it too, for sure. I definitely think Chizuru thinks she's not deserving of his love. When Kazuya moves out, I think Chizuru will start to feel all her true emotions. No, because no, I don't think we're gonna reach that. That doesn't feel like the point. It doesn't feel like the point. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think maybe after this arc, we might actually get a lot of good shit rather than negative stuff. I thought she was trying to resolve her conflict of interest for the longest time now, being a rental girlfriend versus a real girlfriend. But that's just one part of it. That's not the whole issue. That's the surface level issue of real underlying problems, right? That's just the surface level issue of underlying problems. I can't wait for next week, to be honest. Also, Fate, thank you for the streams lately. We appreciate it truly. Thank you for this breakdown as well. I also agree with the grieving aspect of her. I think she isn't sure about this love that she feels for him. Is it driven by appreciation of how much he has supported her, or is it actually a love for him as a man? Yeah. And that might align well with the affection thing that we were just explaining, where the teaser for next time is affection, and as Wallace Bacon said, it might be like something along the lines of like, what's the word we were looking for? A soft spot for him. So maybe she has a soft spot for him. So that maybe that's the root of it, right? Rather than like, I'm actually in love with you. I feel this is Chizuru's 218. I don't know. That doesn't feel quite in character for Chizuru. She's had her 218. Hi, I missed the beginning of the stream, but I don't see any confetti or banners, just gloomy faces and sad comments. I guess we're still stuck on the maybe and the might, right? We're not, it's not so much gloomy. It's not so much gloomy. It's that something feels weird. Something feels a little weird about this anime mash. It doesn't, like, I bet most people are going to be celebrating. I think there's something feels weird about this. For someone who lost close relatives, grief is something that is always present. We just get used to it with time. Yes, and I think Chizuru has not fully accepted that because like there's a lot of things that convey Chizuru hasn't fully accepted that her grandmother is gone. In particular, how she keeps talking to her. Now, this isn't a bad thing, right? Like, I think it's not a bad thing that Chizuru still talks to the person that she has lost and loves, but I think it's also reflective of how she has yet to let go. It's both a good thing and a negative thing. A good thing about it is that she still feels their presence. She still talks to them. She still goes to clean up their grave. She's still there for them. On the other hand, her constantly trying to figure out what they were thinking before they passed, trying to like get answers from the dead who are not here anymore, is reflective of the fact that Chizuru has not let go yet. She hasn't she's not living in the present. She hasn't fully let go of this grief, of this tragedy, and she cannot let herself love. She doesn't feel like she's allowed to. I think that's what rental more so actually means in this scenario. What rental really is in this picture, that Chizuru has not let herself love. She has not let herself experience these things, and yet she is, right? Like her when she's around this person, when she's around Kazuya, when she's around Mani, she's actually getting happy, right? But then you have that dissonance where she's not allowing herself to fully experience that emotion because of that grief, right? She cannot fully experience it because afterwards she kind of tries to control it. She's experiencing it in the moment, but then she tries to control it and tell herself it's something else. It's very much a deconstruction of the tsundere trope and rather an exploration of trauma and like why Chizuru is this character, because she is not she's not a traditional character. This is a slow burn narrative. It's literally something Reiji foreshadows in the Paradise arc. I was talking about it. So we talked about a while back, or like either 2 streams ago or 1 stream ago, we talked about the new opening song for season 4 because it was announced. And then we also talked about the ending song. The ending song was called My Vega. I looked up the meaning of that, and I realized like it's this like deep story about Vega and Altair, and how like pretty much it's a story about hope that despite great separation, characters will still like connect. Like if there's great love, there's always hope. And this story has definitely dealt with the element of separation, of loneliness, of like not being around the people that you love, but like you have to persevere through that. Well, this seems like very in line with this, that it's coming back full circle to that idea. It's not just an immediate reward, it comes off as somewhat bittersweet. And I think that's a very intentional thing from Reiji, that it comes off as bittersweet. The callback to Shimada, with them being near the ocean again. Remember the beach trip? Usually beach trips in anime are like super cute and adorable and happy times, and yet Reiji intentionally presents it as bittersweet. It's very intentionally bittersweet. The beach arc at the very early part of the series, very bittersweet. Paradise arc, literally, it's literally called Paradise. And it's an arc that deals with grief and tragedy, right? It is an arc that deals with depression. It deals with guilt. It deals with so much like negative shit. It is one of the darkest arcs in the series by a country mile. And then now the characters are at the beach again. The commonality between all of these, and here we are, right? The moon is shining down. It is literally the same scene with the end of Paradise, where Chizuru is out at the pool and the moon is shining down on her. It is the same exact scene again. And what's going on? What's happening? I keep telling you, I feel there's an underlying tone. And Reiji, throughout this entire arc, what has he been doing? He's been setting up this thing underneath constantly telling you something might be wrong. Something might be wrong. He gives you a but. He gives you a thing. And then he subverts the but. I think that's the most interesting thing for me. So Reiji had the teaser for 378B but, right? It had the teaser for 378B but. It made you go back to that chapter and think to yourself, oh, it's relevant to this chapter. And then you go to that chapter, and what happens? It's not there. It has nothing to, it's not about that. That's a little strange. Chizuru says the but and made you think of that chapter. You go to that chapter, and it's not there. There's no immediate connection there. It's almost like you were somewhat misled. He had an illusion for you. Let's see here. Rent-a-girlfriend is a fake relationship, and having a real one is illegal. I mean, emotionally, that's what she's thinking right now, but she still desires it, so she also haunted because Sayuri is pushing. I think you're like conflating a whole bunch of things, Edamaton. So the whole idea between the whole rental girlfriend thing is that it's both fake and real. There's a real thing there. It's not just fake. There's something real there. But that real thing gets lost underneath all the lies. And that's something Sayuri literally says in chapter 100. There's a truth underneath all of the 99 lies, right? And that's kind of the conflict for the characters. It's like to find that truth, but to kind of also accept the lies are part of that truth. So it's, yeah, let's the dating arc is the date arc is a dark arc, even darker than Sayuri's Disc, the Paradise, and the Ghosting. I didn't say the date arc was dark. I said there's underlying dark themes in this arc. But I was saying Paradise is the darkest arc by a Christmas mile. It is a very dark arc, right? Like it has like a lot of things in it. It portrays like mommy's family. That whole thing is dark. Chizuru dealing with grief is pretty dark. Like you seeing how literally her character is spiraling and falling apart. You see Kazuya fall apart in real time. You see Nagomi straight up talking about depression and dying soon. There is a lot going on with that arc. It is a very depressing arc by design, and usually people are not great when it comes to handling depressing arcs, right? Especially how it was constructed. It was intentionally slower. I feel like it's a sort of the angel and devil dynamic at play here. Sayuri is the angel and Chizuru is her own devil. No, I don't fully agree with that. I think of it more like this. Sayuri is giving Chizuru the right advice. Chizuru just doesn't know how to understand that advice. Like, have you ever gotten advice from someone and you didn't understand its meaning until much, much later? And then suddenly it started kind of clicking for you. You're like, oh, that's what they meant. Do you think affection could also be her admitting to Kazuya how she doesn't know how to show affection? I think that might be a part of it. And Kazuya will tell her that's bullshit, like, because she shows a lot of affection regularly, and she doesn't see that, I guess. But I think it might also be a soft spot for Kazuya. We'll have to say, I got to double check what some of the other people said. Oh, speaking of which, there's comments here. Oh my God, I'm crying. This is beautiful and wholesome. They're not ready. The confession, the lead up was great. Worth the wait. Everything Kazuya did for Chizuru. Oh my God, I had to read this page twice. Maybe I should Chizuru quiet part aloud. I think I might be in love with you. Finally, oh my God, let's go. Oh boy. Oh man. When the next chapter comes, if there's more, people are going to be so weird when the next chapter comes. Because I'm telling you, people read this at face value. I can already see people read this at face value. So when we get to the next chapters, you're going to be like, oh, Reishi pulled a fast one. What a fucking asshole. When like all the signs were there. All the signs were there that something is a little strange about this. Dude. No. Dude, I hope people don't just like lose it over next chapter. Dude. So the haters use the Paradise arc as an excuse to cope. So, and that too, it's just the overblown crap. So for the hate, it's a very complicated thing. We've discussed this a few times, Blacklands Joe. 218 is not the issue. It is the Chekhov's gun. It is the thing that justified people's beliefs. Paradise arc is an arc that intentionally brings back a lot of traditional tropes and a lot of things people see. And so when they read the movie arc and they go to the Paradise arc, they immediately think to themselves, wow, how could the writing get so bad? The problem is they're looking at a lot of tropes and they're specifically seeing the trope, and that's all they're looking at, right? It's just that the trope exists, therefore it's bad. Not why is the trope here? I think very few people, when reading stories, ever wonder to themselves, why is this thing here? And rarely do they find an answer or have an answer that actually makes sense. Oftentimes, what they'll do when interacting with stories is that this thing didn't land how I thought it would land, therefore it's bad, or it wasn't delivered in a way that would be good for a lot of audiences, therefore it was bad. But that's a really stupid argument because there's a lot of stories that don't end how we want them to, that end in a weird way. And that in itself doesn't mean it's bad. It's just actually narratively consistent, thematically consistent, within line with what the writer was trying to say. And I think that's kind of the Paradise arc. The Paradise arc is a fundamental subversion of traditional Orthodox writing. And it just kind of says, no, I'm going to be my own thing, and that doesn't mean I'm bad. But a lot of people see it as the tropey stuff you're familiar with, and all they see is that it sucks, right? It's difficult. With each passing chapter, I become more doubtful about Chizuru's feelings. The yes will take a long time. Yeah, we'll see. Just now finished the chapter and joined your stream. Welcome, Rumaka. Rumka? I think that's how you say it. 380, the number that is associated with peace and prosperity, chapter 380. I think it'll be the exact opposite. We'll see. Kazuya wakes up. The real date begins. Kazuya will be like, next chapter, what the fuck is I think? Again, I think Chizuru foreshadowed it. I've said this many times. I'm 90% sure Chizuru foreshadowed it in chapter 249 or 248. Yeah, 248. I'm 90% sure Chizuru foreshadowed it. There's no perfect human being. There will be fights, and there will be things they don't like about each other. But if they can turn around and laugh about it 2 seconds later, that's the kind of marriage I'd like to have. Kazuya says, as of now, that's what I want too. Chizuru jokes, where's your sense of individuality? Okay. Have we seen things Kazuya has not liked about Chizuru in this time? No. Okay, and Chizuru has not expressed immediate dislike of anything Kazuya has done. So why bring that up? Because that is there. They're gonna do something that the other person may not like, and they might argue. And and a big thing of this arc, I have said this so many goddamn times, that like I wish more people would listen, but I know they're fucking not because people are dumb as shit. One chapter that I remembered off the top of my head, I think it's 325. Large icons. No, it's 326 or 327. So Kazuya says this is when we first see the date plan completed. Okay. Kazuya talks about the date. He's looking forward to it. And he runs into Chizuru. And Chizuru does this thing. She asks about Minnie. Have you seen Minnie? She didn't come home last night. I lent her my portable charger. Her eyes are closed. There's something she's hiding something here. Right? So Kazuya tells her and I were hanging out, right? Like, oh, she's probably at a friend's place. That's what she said yesterday. She went to karaoke after that. Yesterday? Yeah, we ate together yesterday. He's hanging out with another girl. Chizuru's kind of jealous about that. Thanks. Right? And Chizuru closes her eyes and walks by him. Kazuya, closing his eyes, not noticing what's going on with Chizuru, forgets this thing that happened, and Chizuru yells at him, tells him to go back to your room. This is the second time. Completely justified. Here's where something happens. Chizuru walks to the restroom, and she sees Minnie's text, and she tries to text her. And look at how she's hidden in shadow, right? You look like you had fun, star. I heard that you ate with him yesterday. Did you guys talk about anything? Right? Her jealous side. This is Chizuru's jealousy showing itself. This is her bad side. What does she do? She deletes it like she did at the very beginning during the 3-month time skip where she wanted to talk, but she kept stopping herself and not expressing her bad side. This is so stupid. Literally sits in the bathroom like an idiotic toddler. Look at her. She looks like a stupid kid, right? It's funny, but that's kind of the point, right? The bathroom kind of represents where Chizuru hides her bad side. She hides these negative elements of herself in the bathroom. That's kind of important because we have not seen much of Chizuru's bad side. And she tells Kazuya to not listen. Now, like, look, I'm not saying listen to your significant other when they're in the bathroom, okay? But it's the dirty, gross part of yourself that you don't want someone else to see. Do you see what he's doing there, right? It's like it's that uncomfortable, dirty part of yourself that you don't want someone else to see. She's hiding that part. Now, there's another interesting thing I think very few people caught, and I mentioned it a few times, and it's where Chizuru meets Kazuya at the very start of their date. Oh, wow, these images are reversed. I just realized that. Look at this. These images are reversed. Whereas you start the date with Chizuru being behind Kazuya with her umbrella open, and Kazuya is not looking at her, and she's illuminated in light, whereas he is hidden in shadow. The date ends with her being slowly illuminated, but she's still shadowed with the city behind her, and Kazuya is facing her. Oh my god, these two images are reversed. That's crazy. That's crazy. That is, wow. Wow, Reiji, you are insane. But okay, what does this image convey that is secretly hidden here that I think nobody saw or very, very few people did? Do I have a better one? This one doesn't look very good. Damn. I don't have a complete one. I gotta make a complete one. Okay, so I guess we'll have to go with this for now. Okay. What's interesting here? What Chizuru is standing over. For those who don't know, this is a septic tank. Chizuru is literally standing over the gross, uncomfortable shit. Literally, right? She's wearing boots and she's protecting herself from above and below, right? She is still standing over the uncomfortable stuff that she is hiding. She's still hiding things. Yeah. And then here, it's the opposite. She is at the edge of a pier. Oh my god, she talked about Shimoda. She talked about Shimoda. Do you remember what happened at Shimoda? Jesus Christ, Reiji's bonkers, dude. I think it's chapter 15 or 14. Where was Chizuru before she fell off the ferry? She gets up, she starts walking. Look at where she's standing. She's standing at the edge. Again, she's literally at the edge between water and him. Bruh. She's literally between life and death. How did I not fucking catch that? She is literally standing between life and death. She is at the edge. She is walking at the edge of life and death. Son of a... Wow. How did I not see that? And then what happens in Shimoda? She falls in the water. Whereas here, she's perfectly okay and looking directly at him, and there's nothing wrong. Wow, it is such a reversal of events. That is crazy. That was where the ferry incident took. Yes, Shimoda is where the ferry incident took place. Wow. We might get Chizuru's confession. We might not get Chizuru's confession. No, I don't think so. No. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying it's going to be another 100 chapters until we get Chizuru's confession. I'm saying that Chizuru isn't being totally honest here, and this arc is about opening up and showing everything about yourself, and that has not happened in this state, meaning we are reaching that point where they need to have a fight to let all of this stuff out, to argue, to get mad, to let it all out. And that's what Reiji is building. The lack of proper communication is because it shows that they need to let everything out, everything they're feeling, because they need to accept each other completely. And I think they're not at that point yet. That's what this is. Not that it's going to take another 100 fucking chapters for them to... No. I think the confession, it's coming soon. They're going to kiss again soon. I'm calling it right now. Like a chapter or two, maybe 3 chapters, they might kiss again. It might. I don't think it'll happen next chapter. It might. But I don't think so. I think when they kiss is when we will have the full confession, right? Oh boy, there was a few comments I missed. There's also the argument Reiji threw us a bone just because the chapter release day is after Kazuya's birthday. Yeah, I think that's another thing, right? This comes out right after Kazuya's birthday. Kazuya's birthday was 2 days ago. Isn't it super interesting that this releases 2 days after Kazuya's birthday to give him what he wants? But then your birthday's gonna end. And after your birthday, it might not be so great. Heck, during Kazuya's birthday, it wasn't actually so great, right? A lot of shitty things happened on Kazuya's birthday. He got a kiss. It wasn't a good kiss. It was the bad kind of kiss. Chizuru's grandma ends up in the hot damn hospital. He ends up with a complicated moral dilemma he doesn't know how to fucking deal with. And like a lot of things go wrong on Kazuya's birthday. So it's kind of interesting thematically that this kind of comes back. And I think, I'm telling you right now, this feels like the reverse of the cheer update. And the cheer update didn't immediately end super positive. There was a lot of hoodwinks. There was a lot of moments where you thought to yourself, oh, it's going well, it's going great. And then they pull the rug from under your feet. The Reiji literally pulls the rug from under your feet. You're like, oh shit. Oh no, I wasn't ready for that. And I think, so this is something I'm going to share personally. I think the anime and manga community have I love you syndrome. This isn't a real thing. I made that the fuck up. Bear with me. Basically, when it comes to anime and manga, so many people have had experiences with anime and manga where they take too fucking long and they actually drag. I know, I have experienced many of them. And because of that, whenever they get a slow burn narrative, they only think to themselves, an author is dragging. Okay, but what if the author isn't dragging? And so what I think is going to happen next chapter is like people are going to be excited about this. They're going to be like, finally, you're going to see this all over, right? I think people, you're going to see news outlets talk about this. You're going to see anime content creators talk about this. If they don't, I would be genuinely fucking surprised, right? I think I will be genuinely surprised if people don't talk about this. And what's going to happen next chapter that I already predicted, that there is a but coming, that there is something happening here. If it goes in any way, shape, or form, somewhat negatively, that people are going to like, again, it's going to be the same thing all over again. It's like, oh, see, I was right all along. The series was always bad. Now, I don't think Reiji will go full bad, but I think there's more to this than meets the eye. And I'm curious how he's going to tackle it. He might walk a tightrope, matching how Chizuru is walking a tightrope. He won't get full negative, but he won't be full positive either. And I think that might be the approach he might take next chapter, where it's going to be that middle point, perfectly matching Chizuru's character. And whether that ends up like making the anime community or manga community mad, that's inevitable. These fuckers already have a hate campaign against this series. I just hope it doesn't turn into anything like massively negative, but it is something I'm somewhat concerned about because I know how these people act. Let's see. Hello, Fate. Just finished reading the chapter. Peak might not be enough to describe the chapter. Going to work on the translations you sent me. Thanks. Yeah, it is indeed quite peak, but not the traditional kind of peak. It was raining when they left during the day, and then the rain stopped at night. Yes. Again, that's another yin and yang moment, right? It's like the negative parts are consuming the day, whereas the night is seemingly positive and illuminated, and very clear, and yet something feels kind of off. What I like about this story is just how realistic it portrays how relationships actually develop. I believe Chizuru's issues with Kazuya now is trust, hence the question she asked about cheating. No, 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 no. Chizuru's issue with trust is kind of a her problem. Kazuya has done nothing in terms of like breaking trust. This is literally Chizuru's issues. It's not anything Kazuya has done. Kazuya does not need to do anything else to prove himself. He has done a lot, and she knows he has done a lot. He has done more than enough. He has shown her time and time again he is a trustworthy person. He is loyal. He is committed. He is there for her. No, Kazuya does not need to do anything else. There's a reason this arc is about Chizuru developing, not so much Kazuya, because it's about her learning to change, whereas it's about Kazuya learning to accept himself, right? There's a reason. Reiji has consistently shown us Kazuya's negative traits in this arc. It's because Kazuya needs to accept these traits. Whereas we see much of Chizuru's negativity in the bathroom area, in her hiding in places, hiding behind doors, we see Kazuya's negativity whenever his lust comes out. And it's because Kazuya needs to accept his sexual desires, something a lot of young men don't, right? Where a lot of men are taught that the sexual desire they feel is a bad thing, especially nowadays. Whereas women tend to feel bad about like other things, right? Like the jealousy or the uncomfortability, because those things are taught to be bad. However, we feel the same exact things, and it's basically about breaking these social constructs of this is bad and this is bad when that's totally normal, right? So a lot of this arc is breaking down social constructs. For Kazuya, it's about accepting himself. For Chizuru, it's about accepting like that. Basically, it's about accepting her feelings. Not so much like it's a little more complicated with Chizuru because it's supposed to mirror Kazuya but kind of be the reverse of him. With Chizuru, it's about accepting the change that she has undergone and also accepting that like the people she has lost have passed and accepting the future. Whereas with Kazuya, it's about accepting his present, who he is right now. So for Chizuru, it's accepting the past and the future. For Chizuru, it's accepting the past and the future. For Kazuya, it's accepting the present. Because Chizuru is literally living in the present with him. But she's not saying this is my present, right? So it's in order to accept the past and the future, she needs to accept the past and the future so she can be in the present. Kazuya just needs to accept his present. There we go. Jesus. I don't think IRL dates matter anything for. I don't. No, they do. I think they do. For Kazuya's birthday, they do. Yeah, they do. My wife, when we were dating, didn't trust my loyalty for her either due to her previous trauma of being cheated on. In this case, Chizuru is worried that one day Kazuya will leave her as well. Yes, but he has consistently shown her that he's committed and loyal, so it's not so much that I think it's like... I think it's literally Chizuru's insecurity that she needs to confront in herself, and that's not necessarily fair to Kazuya considering he's gone out of his way to be with her and be loyal to her. I believe there will be a period of time where Chizuru tests his loyalty towards her. I don't know, man. I think she's already done that a lot. But yes, there might be another point, like with the mommy thing, right? Testing isn't good in a relationship. Yeah, testing really is not a good thing in a relationship. Like you shouldn't... Like I understand wanting to make sure early on. I completely understand you trying to be comfortable when you're dating someone. You're looking for like certain signs. Maybe you're like, okay, is this safe? Heck, maybe before you even date someone, when you get to know someone, sometimes it's okay to like, make sure you're comfortable with this person and that there isn't anything weird. But you shouldn't do these kinds of like tests with people, right? You should they should be able to open up to you and you them. And if you can't, that's a bad sign, right? Relationships are complicated. I think tests and relationships are not a good thing, but it is important to fully understand people. And sometimes the way people do that is through tests. We're morally complicated people, okay? So it's not as simple as don't do tests, do tests, right? The problem with the relationship for her isn't trust, it's longevity. Yeah, because it might end. She's literally talking about endings. The translations are ready if you want. I can't imagine Reiji being holding this climax for a long time, just like the kiss. Yeah, I literally think this is gonna end with a kiss and possibly sex. I'm saying it right now. I think there's gonna be a fight. I think there's gonna be some negativity, but I genuinely think there's gonna be some sort of fucking kiss. Like by the end of this, I'm gonna be real with you. Okay. So my friend said he finished the translations. Let's read what these say. It's not but it's not but a bad sign, so that means the moonlight that lights the buildings and the street lamps. Just for today, those are the spotlights for them. Wait. Crumpy, can you elaborate on that? What does that mean? The moonlight, the lights of the building and the street lamps. Just for today, these are the spotlights for them. So the lights are like their guidance. Is that what that's like kind of saying? Okay. Next time, the conclusion, the answer, that is the editor's note, not the teaser. Oh. Next time, the conclusion. Oh, shit. Next time, love? Hey, Lawless Bacon, wherever you got the fucking spoiler shit, it was goddamn wrong. Oh shit. It's the same love as the one my girlfriend and love. Oh, we are reaching the conclusion. Oh, shit. The next chapter might be the finale for the arc. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I think next chapter might be like a full breakdown of Chizuru's like feat of love. Of like her interpret. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, shit. Next time, the conclusion, the answer, the teaser, love. Wow. So yeah, Lawless Bacon, this is why we don't read the fucking spoilers. This is why we don't do that shit, because that shit's stupid. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I didn't mean to like actually get mad. Wow. Okay. Next chapter's gonna be interesting. Wow. Wow. I'm gonna yell at Bacon more. I'm teaching him a lesson. No, dude. Look, just don't read spoilers and don't bring anything from the spoilers here, even if we've read the chapter. Look, even if we've read the chapter, don't bring anything from the spoilers here, because a lot of times they're incorrect. They're literally incorrect, right? So just don't bring that stuff here no matter what. Don't read the spoilers. Don't bring anything from the spoilers here. Not because like you're a bad person or anything like that, but literally because there is oftentimes incorrect shit. They misread love as affection. That should be a sign to you that they don't understand Japanese. Like, that's all I'm saying, right? So in the future, I'd really like to avoid bringing that stuff here, because, again, it'll lead to an entire sequence where we misread what was being said here. Shit. Wow. Jesus Christ. And it ends at 380. How fitting that it ends at 380. No, she's blushing. She's blushing. It's not like a crazy blush like Kazuya, but she's blushing. There's a little blushes here. But she has a deadpan straight face, right? And this is about Chizuru's love, so it ending when she's talking about love makes a whole lot of sense. I think you're overthinking good writing. There is a little. This is Reishi's old strategy. Okay, Mosalato Di Polio, please don't bring that stuff here. I have said this for many, many years. No, this is not Reiji's old strategy. He doesn't just do this shit. You guys are literally just reading this shit surface level. I'm sorry. Like, this is the truth. It's unfortunate, but this is the truth. You're reading the story at a very surface level. There is more there. He has consistently shown that there's more there. Okay. Fine. You claim this is just Reiji rehashing the same old formula. Fine. Let's go to a chapter where he rehashed the same old formula. Chizuru clearly doesn't have any doubts about everything. Reiji's just re-looping for no fucking reason. Don't worry, I don't have any doubts either. But, doesn't get explained. You get to the end of the chapter, and suddenly you see this. This is never fucking brought up. It's almost like, oh wait, there's something not being said here. Gee, when I showed 326, it's almost like Reiji was showing that there's something not being said. He's not looping. I am so irritated by that argument that a writer is just constantly looping. Look, there is narrative reasons to why certain looping happens, right? For instance, in Chizuru's case, there is looping there. I'm just saying that from a fan perspective, shit can taste like caviar. Look, I'm very tempted to ban you, so I'm gonna need you to chill. Because if you're just here to talk crap and tell me that this story sucks, I'm not gonna sit here and talk to you about that. So, look, this is your final warning. I'm not playing this game. I'm not in the fucking mood. If you don't understand the story and you just want to look at it that way, that's perfectly your choice. But if you're gonna pull that crap, I will fucking ban you. I don't care. Like, you literally just called a series I enjoy that I've been streaming and talking about for a very long time shit. So I might just fucking ban you, dude. Don't do that crap. I tried to be reasonable with the first comment, and I'm trying my best to be reasonable here. Better ruin the fucking mood. Now I lost track. I didn't even know what the fuck I was talking about. Lost track of my goddamn thoughts. Subfate, great chapter, but after thinking back, there's something off, like Chizuru talking, not finishing. Eddie Man just walked into the stream, literally saw the same thing as me. We had not talked for a fucking week, and he literally just walked into the stream and thought the same exact thing as me. Dude, it doesn't matter how long a story is. 380 chapters to say I might love you is not surreal. It is completely normal. There are people who don't know their feelings for shit. Like, that is not surreal. Look, you're literally obsessed with the idea of the length of the story. That doesn't mean anything, right? If anything, this story is more interesting because it's longer. Look, I need you to remove that idea from your head that a story has to be a particular length if it is a specific genre. If it's a specific thing, that is a stupid thing, okay? Right? Just get that out of your head, man. It is literally trapping you from seeing what is actually there. It is trapping you from seeing what is actually there. You need to get rid of that mentality. It is trapping you from seeing what the story actually has to say. Just because they're not together, it does not mean they're in love. Or they're not in love. They're not in love, right? Just look, man. All I'm gonna, Mosolato, I'm gonna try my best to not respond to you anymore. I'm gonna be kind and not ban you. But look, all I want is just please have an open mind when interacting with the story and stop thinking of what it should be instead of what it is. You're focusing on what it should be. You're focusing on what you think it's doing, not what it's actually doing. I'm telling, I've seen this a bajillion times. We have watched hate videos. We have sat down with hate videos and gone through this stuff. I'm telling you, it's literally that. Look, I'm not saying the story has to be for you. Look, I'm not saying the story has to be for you. You don't have to like this story. I'm not telling you have to. I don't care if you like this story or not. I'm just telling you, what I genuinely believe is that you're somewhat blind by the idea that it's a certain length, therefore it's shocking that they haven't confessed yet. When other stories have done this before, just really shit. Some have done it a lot better. I love this series for everything that it is not. Oh yeah, I kind of get you. Same. This is my favorite story for that simple reason, right? Because it doesn't just get the romance over with. I fucking hate. I actually really hate that nowadays. Because so many romance anime have drawn shit out for like a century. Because there are many stories. I think Love Hina is a great example of how to not do that, right? Like, it's a terrible excuse of a slow burn, in my opinion, from what I read. Because I'm maybe real, I didn't finish it, so maybe not a completely fair argument, but that story dragged the shit out, and it made it unbearable, and many stories afterwards started doing the same exact thing. The original progenitor, in terms of popularizing the slow burn aesthetic, is Maison Ikkoku, and it gave a completely justified reason for why it's so long. But many other stories tried to mimic it and did it very poorly, and to this day, many still do. Right? So what do a lot of stories do in contrast is that they drag, they fucking drag their stories to try and mimic that. Or what they'll do nowadays, modern animes, they'll have the characters confess right away, right? Or that'll be their gimmick. They'll confess right away, and it's like, whatever. Yeah, I have an open mind. Length is not an excuse. For instance, One Piece is one that's always improving and getting better. This is not the roller coaster of a good, bad, good. So you say that, but One Piece has a lot of moments that are paced like absolute crap. As someone who's both watched and read One Piece, there are many arcs that are paced like absolute garbage, and yet people love it. One Piece is not a perfect story. It has a lot of issues too. It's not an amazing godlike story. And interestingly, One Piece is one of the inspirations for this story. Initially, Reiji wanted to write a shonen manga, a shonen battle manga to be precise, and he changed his mind. He wrote a romance. But no, look. One Piece actually has a lot more traditional writing than you would expect, and so naturally it appeals to a lot more people. Rent-A-Girlfriend is a very unorthodox written narrative. It's not traditionally written. You can't look at it the same way as other stories. It is fundamentally criticizing other stories. So if you look at it like other stories instead of what it's trying to do, you're gonna just miss the forest for the trees. Especially considering many people who binge this manga have a much easier time binging it than they do reading it weekly. If you're reading it weekly, it definitely feels a lot longer than it is. But I don't know. I don't know why I'm still responding. I'm feeling especially targeted in this stream. Just indulge me. I'm watching Love Hina. Look, I'm not saying you can't enjoy these shows, dude. My Dress Up Darling has 115 chapters. Be my guest. Oh man, I really did not like My Dress Up Darling. The thing about the length argument is that it never it's never subjective. It's always biased. They'll never say it's too long one moment and then wait for it to get it's good in the next moment. Well, the very nature of arguments is that they're subjective. Most of them are, right? It's very rare to find like true objectivity in anything. I don't think you're going to convert. I don't plan to. I'm just trying to open his mind. If he doesn't want to, that's fine. This is your point of view, Masalato. If you really understand the layers of the story of the character psychology, it's logical that it's that long. Kazuya wasn't prepared at all for what Chizuru said in the end. He was completely overwhelmed and speechless. Yeah. Okay. Let's get back to the point. I'll read the last two comments. I feel like Rent-A-Girlfriend's for people that loves the deeper into characters. Yes, it is a very deeply character-driven story, and it is not about plot. Right? It's not about plot. This is not a story about plot. It is a story about the characters and their struggles and what they're going through. And if you like deconstructing and delving into characters and relating to characters, this is the story for you. If you want plot, this is not the story for you. Right? In my opinion, I think everybody should read Rent-A-Girlfriend, but it is not for everybody. Because of how it's structured. Because if you watch modern day shows, modern day films, a lot of the stuff you see today, it is not structured like this. And Reiji knows it, and he does not care, right? He's okay with that. A lot of shows today are just plot. and there's very rarely time to breathe and just take everything in and focus on the characters. I think the character work for a lot of stories has gotten significantly weaker these days. Like, One Piece is a good example of good character writing, but sometimes some characters just get left by the fucking wayside. Like, Usopp is like barely a character these days. Like, poor fucking Usopp, man. Anyways, plot. I was at work. Could you repeat your thoughts on the semi-confession? It feels like something is a little off. That's all I was saying. I did not like as well how the dress up drawing turned. Okay, we're going to move on from this. I feel like Reiji is the Norm McDonald's of the manga world. That's a very strange take. Guys, let's chill and just get back to this chapter, okay? I'm not really too interested in talking about like trying to get Musa Lady or whatever his name was into this series. If he still wants to believe that, that's his choice. I'm not interested in that anymore. Let's see. So I guess we can go to Reddit, see what people had to say. I think yeah, it's 9:33. We should have some people saying some stuff by now. We've talked a decent amount, so let's see what people had to say here. Serious version. Oh my god, huge moment. We finally have made it to this moment after 8 years and 300 chapters. Yeah, again, there's nothing wrong with that. Chizuru using all of her strength to let Kazuya know how much she is grateful. It's not just not living her, but everything that has happened between the past 2 years. Now looking back at it again, there's a sense of some vibes feels off, so I won't be surprised if Chizuru can. Yeah, see, even they feel it. Rip Verka's previous comment. Oh, right. For some readers, they got their closure. But for me, I started reading the anime era and watched it read it until the end. And I'm so happy with this chapter. So happy for Kazuya, but he has won the battle and not the war. Keep up, soldier. Blah 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 blah. Holy shit. Okay, now true confession for me. Okay. Now listen here, you little girl. It's not maybe, it is. Jokes aside, obviously the whole date was Chizuru's long confession. And I've somewhat agreed with this. She had the answer for more than a year. She knew it, but one of her gigantic flaws is having issues with opening up to people she trusts, and she finally got truly over it. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Looking back at the whole research was more practical than emotional, I think. But that's actually the issue, isn't it? That it is practical, not emotional. Chizuru needed time to get used to the reality that she always denied and wanted to be sure the relationship with Kazuya was feasible. What is love? Was more of a mean than the final goal. But I think just like the cheer update didn't necessarily resolve everything, this might not have resolved everything either. There might still be more after this. This chapter is that not just a simple confession, but a confession of both love and what she went through to get there. It shows what Kazuya needed to get through. It shows Chizuru knows what he went through for her. Her own flaws, and most important of all, she finally admitted loving him. It makes it makes it far more impactful. Great chapter, and Kazuya looking good is always welcome. Can't wait for the next chapter on top of this, and for Chizuru to complete the confession, because she needs to. Now, I wonder what will happen in the near future. The ending has always been obvious. Will the kiss as they should? Will Kazuya go back home? And just, yeah, something feels off, though. I still... Okay. Okay, first impressions. Okay, not quite a confession that shows her feelings are clear to her, but it was certainly a lot more than I expected. I thought it would doubt her feelings more, but it seems she has decided to doubt her initial perception instead. Yeah, a reversal, if you will. Good for her. She obviously wants this to be love and is ready to take that chance. This also sets up quite brilliantly because the last thing she mentioned was Hawaiians and what she did there, which obviously refers to the kiss. Oh yeah, he's right. If she wants to test her hypothesis that the kiss was indeed more to her than just the way to save Kazuya, she could absolutely follow that up with a request to do it again. Damn. He right though. Oh, but what is love? Okay, now, how will Kazuya react to that? It was more than I expected, so Kazuya is probably completely overwhelmed. Still, it looks like there's more explanation to come, and now they also have to decide how to proceed with this maybe. For this wondering, Chizuru said, I might like you, Suki, like love. Oh, she just used Suki. Okay, not the super deep one. These are for next time is love. Koi gokoro. as the name of the current arc, My Girlfriend and Love. Wow. Okay. Dude, a message of this manga is dangerous. The message of this manga is dangerous and toxic. Simping a girl for 2+ years, blushing his ass off. How is... Okay, so that tells me all I need to know. The fact that Kazuya can't simp over a girl and can't like her and support her for her dream is toxic and dangerous to men, because a man should not love someone who makes him feel like a better version of himself. He should not support them financially if he doesn't get something back. Think of it like that. Think of what you're saying. Kazuya can't like this girl. Kazuya can't be with this girl because she doesn't give him anything immediately back. Except Chizuru has never shown she was actually using Kazuya. If anything, every time he tries to overspend on her, she stops him. She's like, no, don't do that. The only time she makes a mistake is when she herself is not in a good place. But Kazuya still supports her, and she still steps up to be there for him. Constantly. Chizuru actively changes and is there for him. He's toxic because love is reciprocal. Kazuya is giving everything and the chick is just playing hard to get. I'm sorry, that's your own fucking perception. Chizuru isn't just playing hard to get. Like, I'm pretty sure that really tells me you really didn't read the last chapter, because literally Chizuru, you literally didn't read the last chapter. The last chapter was literally about this. And how Chizuru should not be shallow and be honest with what she's going through. And we literally just talked about how Chizuru's going through grief and depression, and she's struggling and going through a lot, and she doesn't have people in her lives. She's not playing hard to get. What the fuck are you talking about? How is Kazuya being toxic here? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm gonna stop. I'm getting mad and I'm getting loud. No, we're done with this. I'm not talking I'm done with this. Nope. Not getting into this anymore. What the fuck is this person talking about? See, I kind of figure this is exactly where we're headed. We're too far into the series for this to be a rejection. And Reiji had too much emphasis and importance on this date for it to end up another way. But Chizuru is at least admitting to herself and Kazuya that there isn't really any other explanation for her feelings other than love. I'm still skeptical that there'll be an out dating after this arc. There'll be a semi-holding period of dating, but not officially until external issues are resolved. Yes, there's a lot of external issues and internal that Reiji has set up that have not quite been resolved. So something feels a little off. Notably, Ruka. This has kind of always been my thought process on how this whole thing turns out. She admits she wants to date him, but wants to tie up to loose ends that could harm their relationship first. It perfectly sets up to continue the story into the next phase without having to undo any progress and take steps backwards in their relationship. Yeah. Yes, I expected her to doubt her feelings more to the point of not wanting to give Kazuya the wrong impression. Except isn't she literally doing that though? She's trying her best not to give him the wrong impression. That's literally what she's doing. She's decided to give the other route to say it positively. It still means she isn't sure about her feelings, but she has decided to assume it probably is love. That means if Kazuya can accept that uncertainty, he can have the girl of his dreams as girlfriend right now. I'm crying. I spent years reading and getting excited about moments that seems like this moment. There are many people on the internet who are with me and are no longer with us. They are alive, but we don't talk. For them, I know that they're celebrating somewhere. Let's enjoy it, guys. This is just the beginning. Absolute Cinema. Don't I have an Absolute Cinema thing I made a while back? I gotta find it. I don't know where I put it. Maybe I put it in like a meme folder. Where's the Absolute Cinema thing I made? Come on. I know it's here somewhere. Hello. Absolute Cinema. Absolute Cinema. All right. Doesn't it feel like she's doing that? She's just not doing this. But damn. Well. All right. Chizuru isn't playing her to get. There's nothing wrong with exploring one's feelings, bro. Yeah. For the first time, she accepts her feelings for him. Finally, I think as soon as they connect with each other. I feel like she's talking to herself rather than Kazuya in this chapter. A little bit. Let's just ignore what I said. I don't really care. I can't believe it. I'm sitting on the bus right now and I can't believe I'm reading. I can't believe it. After so many years, so many chapters, I'm here for years since chapter 176. I can't believe it. It's so relieving, guys. I'm done. I'm done. I'm stunned. I think of all you. Thank you, Rishi. Thank you. Oh my god. Oh my god. This person is like Paradise arc is beach arc. Well, yes, we knew that. Here, let me check something else very quick. Finally. Let's see. Wow, there isn't. Maybe we started a little too early because there isn't much talk at the moment, which kind of sucks. I want to hear more people's thoughts and like what they're thinking of the chapter. Japanese fans, come to me. Kazuya is cooler than Arata. Hell yeah. But overseas fans is strange. Personal opinion. I see. Oh, Korokana. Okay, okay. Sorry, I don't pull up Twitter on here just because, like, it's Twitter. There's always going to be something you don't want to show on YouTube so you don't get in trouble. Because something will come up and I will get in trouble. Can you show the double spread of Chizuru's confession in Japanese? I'm wondering if last week's next time is in the spread. You mean the maybe? Sure, I can show it to you. Here, I'll take a picture of it and send it to you just to be safe. Come on. There we go. There you go, boss. I sent it to you. I sent it to you, Crumpy. Yeah, it's there, the maybe. Yeah. Is there anything that like you can catch from the chapter that like maybe felt a little different in the Japanese in contrast to the English? Just like any details that we might have missed that like could have said more, I think. Absolute cinema, but in Soviet Russia. Absolute cinema's you. Or cinema absolutes you. Yeah, I feel like it'd be cinema absolutes you. Okay, I get. Oh yeah, Crumpy, you never did explain the thing about the skyscrapers. You wrote that the skyscraper thing, the moonlight, the lights of the buildings, and the street lamps. Just for today, those are the spotlights for them. Oh, the spotlights, as in they are this is their center stage, and the spotlights are highlighting them. Is that what it's saying? Just for them? That's kind of cool, actually. Wow, that's actually kind of cool. The background is literally the scenery illuminating the characters. Wow. Let's see. Do you think that the last page intentionally showed Chizuru looking serious as Reiji's way of showing how serious she is facing her own feelings towards Kazuya? Do you think that the last page intentionally showed Chizuru looking serious? Yeah, that could be it. That could be definitely it. She's definitely being very serious, right? She's definitely being very serious. That's definitely it. You're not wrong in that department. But again, there's often double meanings with this kind of stuff. So I feel like there's a little more at play here. If the day ends next chapter, does that mean Reiji wants to end the volume with Kazuya leaving house? I don't know. I don't think so. I doubt it would just end abruptly. That would be very strange. We got the skyscrapers last chapter, I think, too. Yeah, yeah. Would it be cool if we cut back to Minnie after the big moment and she's smiling? Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. I don't think it's just gonna end though. If next chapter it just cuts back to them at home or something, I'd be like, what the fuck? That would be like insane whiplash. That would be next level whiplash. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they showed the skyscrapers too. They showed buildings, but no, they did not show the skyscrapers. They just showed buildings. I wonder if those are like a particular set of skyscrapers that are like relevant to this. I don't know if they're like full on skyscrapers. They're just tall buildings, maybe. But yeah, God, the way the scenery is like illuminating her and illuminating him. God damn. God damn. Wow. Like the way they're like isolated and cut off from society is such a cool thing. That's funny. Last chapter's last page and this chapter's last page are very similar. I didn't realize that. Oh yeah, Crumpy. You think these two are similar? Whew, you're in for a fucking ride. Look at this one. Look at this one. And look at this one. Every single one is the same. It's just the emotions or expressions are different. So first we start with this one. Chizuru is blushing. Kazuya has a deadpan face. Then in chapter 227, 378, Chizuru is looking away and she has a kind of a slight blush, whereas Kazuya is freaking out. And then this one, Chizuru has the deadpan face to convey her like seriousness, and Kazuya is looking directly at her, and she's directing directly at him. But Kazuya looks a little more cute and handsome here. So yeah, they're all intentionally similar, and they all follow the same exact pattern. Shadows with light, background is shadowed out, the front is white. So yeah. We could also cut back to the house and okay, no, we already read that. Oh, so what happened? Find out that way. Oh no, I don't want that. I don't want that. Cause that works. That works. The what you're describing here, if we cut back to Minnie and like we find out after, that works in the cheer update because the cheer update had its resolution. This didn't. We haven't had the full complete resolution yet. So what he did in the cheer update works, but not here. Question in the green for more hate video roasting. I have identified at least 2 to 3 videos. Another time, not today. Not today. I'm not in the mood today. I can handle it, just not right now. I wonder what faces they're going to make next week. Lol. Oh, oh boy, there are gonna be a lot of faces. Do you think the next chapter could be like 227 and 226? I think Chizuru kissed Kazuya once, and 227 she kissed him again. I wonder if she'll do something similar, maybe confirm a bit more love. I have no idea. I literally don't know. Literally, this arc has been just pulling the rug from under our feet constantly. And like, it just feels like there's supposed to be a fight. And I'm like waiting for the fight to happen. And it's not happening. I'm like, damn, the slow burn is kicking my ass, but he's doing such a good job. But yeah, like, again, I feel like the I think and the might is really throwing me off here. Right? I'm expecting, it feels like there's supposed to be more. It feels like there's supposed to be more. And I think Reiji knows that feeling. I think he knows that there's supposed to be more. People are looking at this Chizuru's confessional, but it means more than hurt each character. Kazuya looks handsome in some battles. Yeah, I was explaining that earlier. Kazuya literally starts looking more and more handsome as the chapter continues. So we start with like this to literally reflect how Kazuya is freaking out like Chizuru is freaking out. And then once she calms down, he starts calming down. And then he starts literally looking more handsome. Look at him slowly become more handsome. Look at her like literally look more ethereal and beautiful, right? Like look at them just look at him. He's so goddamn. Actually, let's reread some of this. I want to reread some of this just to see what I didn't catch the first time. It's already past 9 p.m. in manga time, but the night is still young. We as readers may see constantly, but Kazuya rarely lets her see his expression of anxiety. No, kinda. It's a little complicated. Perhaps Kazuya's transformation into a handsome man is slowly shifting into Chizuru's perspective. I think Kazuya was always handsome, and Chizuru always thought he was handsome. But like, the panic he felt reflects the panic she's feeling. So she's seeing him as she is feeling. The chapter buildings are parallel by the way Kazuya and Chizuru. The chapter, oh, yeah. That's kind of what I initially thought when we started, that these two buildings seem to parallel Kazuya and Chizuru themselves, literally in terms of height and how they look. So like, literally these are the characters, And this is the stage, lights being set, whether it's the fireflies or the lights. There's the moonlight casting on them. They are these two buildings. So I think that is interesting. That's the visual Reiji wants to go for. That they're like two buildings looking at each other, but they're kind of uneven. So I think that's kind of interesting. They're not perfectly symmetrical. But then, oh yeah, oh my God, look at this, look at that. It's the reverse. It's literally the it's not even subtle. It's not even. These are the buildings. They're like this, and then you go to Kazuya and Chizuru, and they're like this. It's the paneling is right there. The paneling is right there. That's so funny. Okay. Huh? What actually? She started off saying but now it's actually. In romance reality shows, compliments followed with but always end in rejection. But what about actually? Okay. This could be a good thing. Does that mean it's okay? Makes the noise. What is this? What's happening? Where is this actually going? She turns around. Huh? Sorry, I need a moment. Takes a deep breath. Yeah, I love the sense of control that she creates here. And again, the paneling structure is very similar. The ocean seems to always be behind Chizuru, and the sky seems to always be behind Kazuya consistently. Every single chapter, Chizuru, the sky always behind Kazuya, the ocean always behind Chizuru, because you're seeing Chizuru from Kazuya's point of view, and you're seeing Kazuya from Chizuru's point of view. She's looking up at him, and he's looking down at her. That's very important to constantly show like that. Okay. She's always doing her best too. I'm sure we've been worried about everything, trying to put it into words. I love the way he creates distance with this panel, and then he zooms in at her. And taking it seriously until now, that alone makes me so happy. I was just thinking about how I haven't thanked you, huh? Thanked me. Thank you for falling in love with me. The way her hair is flowing in the wind, the messiness of it, it looks so messy. I think it's very intentional that her hair looks messy because it conveys the messiness of her feelings and even the messiness of some of the love that they're feeling. Again, we've talked about many times how the story deals in the messy. It's not simply clean. So Chizuru saying thank you for falling in love with me is very important to convey like Kazuya being thanked, Chizuru being glad, Chizuru telling him I love you too. Doesn't it feel intentionally structured like a confession? Like this is literally how confessions go. It's literally structured like this. But the way Chizuru says it so controlled and like yeah, just the way Chizuru says it so under control is what's so strange about it. But again, the message got conveyed to him. I've asked so many times why, but I just thought I should thank you for feeling the way that you do about me, right? So it's not about the why, it's just the fact that you feel this way, and that in itself is good. I'm glad. Dude, he put like so much effort into this right here. Like the way he drew her eyes, the line work, the oh my god. He went to town with this. There it is. That one word is making all the things feel worthwhile. I think about it every time I look at the ocean. Has it really been 2 years since then? Do you remember when the two of us were rescued together at Shimada? Of course, I'll never forget anything that I've done with you. Damn. She looks up at him. He's tilting his head and looking up. That's the panel structure is so interesting. The panel structure feels like it's saying a lot, and I'm not picking up. Their relationship is literally divided by this. The literal divide by this. That's so interesting. Literally, Kazuya says it here. I'll never forget anything I've done with you. Literally shows most of the things they've done together, most of their big moments together. Okay. A lot has happened. I never imagined this is where it would be 2 years later. I'd never even dreamed of it. I never dreamed. Chizuru the dream chaser, talking about dreams at night. Interesting. Now I wonder if I really had fallen in love with her back then. So we see that moment intentionally to contrast Kazuya, and this is where he thinks he fell in love with her, which makes a lot of sense because right after that he goes home, beats his meat, he's like, "Oh shit, I fell in love with her." I'm grateful to, and like he says it then and there, so that was the moment it started. I think he even says that. I'm grateful to you. It was rocky at the start, but I probably wouldn't have been able to show grandma the movie if I'd never met you. So she's almost going through their big moments together. Isn't that interesting? First, it's like everything they've been through, and then one piece at a time. It starts going down each individual experience they had. So first it's all of them, everything together, every experience. Then she talks about how they were rescued in Shimura. Reiji literally shows it. Then he shows Chizuru back then and how Kazuya fell in love with her then. And then she mentions the movie and how they showed the film. Again, that's another thing she showed. Then she talks about you supported me during hard times, how he literally waited outside the door, how he's and the sad times. So hard times when he waited outside for her and he was there for her. Sad times when she was crying and struggling. You stayed by my side. This past month too, this house would have been too big for one person. It was fun. It was fun. It was kind of fun having you and Mini-chan around. It shows the moon, not the memory, the moon on its own in a big wide open sky. You don't see anything else with the moon except the clouds, as if the moon is alone, almost like she is the moon. Okay. And then to contrast the moon, to contrast her words, it shows her in an illuminated area, as if she's among many people. Since that one time, I haven't cried, right? Oh my god, this is... I know what this reminded me of. It's this. It reminded me of this. The light literally behind her. Well, maybe I'm just a little soft. And she admits to crying. Damn. Like, they didn't know she cried. They didn't know. She opened up about crying. It's literally just like this, where she's like, maybe I'm just a little soft, right? So it's a intentional parallel between the two, and that was technically their first date. First date. um, since that one time, I haven't cried. Right? I adore her. I want to date her. I want you. Oh, Crumpy, are you still here? Crumpy, are you still here? If you are, is Kazuya's words here the same as the words he says in the anime, or just in chapter 49? Sorry, Kimigai, Kimiga. Is this what he says here in the Japanese? Let me pull it up. So what does Kazuya say here? Kimigai. I was wondering the same exact thing. Yeah. I'm very curious. I really want to know if he says the same exact thing at chapter 49. I guess I could buy it. Your camera is blocking the second bubble. Son of a mother. How about now? Can you see it now? I can move my hair. I'll just make it big and here, I know what to do. I know what to do. It, I have a solution. Just one momente. Momente, presidente. Oh, wow. It really is. I'll just keep Chizuru down here. Here, you can see it now, right? No, he doesn't say Kimigai. He says Hoshi Kimiga. So it's pretty similar. It's pretty. He still says Kimiga, which is possessive. Hoshi. What does Hoshi mean again? Pretty similar, yeah. What does Hoshi mean? To want. I see. Reread page 8. It should be like this is the crux of Chizuru, whereas Kazuya says, after I want you. I just noticed that. Wait, what? What? Can you rewrite that? I don't understand what you're saying. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It should be like this is the crux of Chizuru, whereas Kazuya says right after I want you. I just noticed that. But I just thought I should thank you for feeling the way you do about me. Oh, I see. The I should, the sense of duty that Chizuru is acting on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, that's definitely kind of important. I definitely get that. We said this a few times. Chizuru acts on I should. Kazuya acts on I want. Which is, Kazuya acts on desire. Chizuru acts on duty. Let's come back down here. Chizuru is back. Okay. Since that one time I haven't cried, right? Again, she opened up about crying that one time. I want you. Yeah, there's already a bittersweet feeling here. The idea of like, I cried once, I was alone, I was sad, right? So you see an isolated moon reflecting how alone she is while she's talking about being around other people. And then here she is, standing, taking up most of the page, and literally the city and the night sky is illuminating her. In contrast to Kazuya, who is so overtaken. Like Kazuya's taken so much of the page, you only see like just half of his face. That's how much of the page he's taken over. Maybe that could even reflect her love. That could even be a reflection of like Chizuru's love. That like that's how much of her heart he is in. Right? He's literally filled this empty void here with his presence here. And just as she is filling the presence for him here, like these two images could parallel each other. That's how much she's taken over here. I want to date her. I want you. I want you. So wait. In this one in the Japanese, he says Hoshi Kimi ga. So Hoshi is to I want, and then Kimi ga is you, like to possess you. He doesn't say Kimi ga. He says Kimi ga. Yeah, I want you. You. Okay. Okay. So this one is interesting. I in particular really find it interesting where the bubbles are here. Like, why are the bubbles specifically over her breast and chest, right? Like, why her chest? It's like she's holding it close to her chest. Is that what it's trying to say? As a rental girlfriend had always thought that it was wrong to fall in love with a client. Something she held deep in her chest, something she felt for a very long time. That's why it's there. That's why it's on her chest in particular. And then it pans to the night sky again. It's obvious. The one thing I find really interesting is how the night sky doesn't have stars, right? Or maybe it does. Maybe these are stars, but it doesn't feel dreamy. It just feels like it exists, and there's a constant contrast between the night sky and the city. It's obviously against the terms. Most of all, I never thought I could allow myself to be someone's girlfriend. Obviously against the terms is in the sky, as if it's a decree from the heavens, right? So it's just a law. And then most of all, so it's not the grounded, the real thing. I never thought I could allow myself to be someone's girlfriend. There's a lot of vertical chapter. Yeah, the chapter is very vertical in nature, isn't it? That's so interesting. The chapter is extremely vertical. Like literally how it's present. Like the goddamn skyscrapers. It's vertical like it's vertical like the characters. Why the vertical structure? Was the previous chapter very horizontal? No, it had that vertical structure too, just not as much. Right? There's a lot more horizontal panels, but this one is very vertical. Why? Yes, I saw a cat. Yeah, why is the chapter so vertical? Why? What is the point of that besides the skyscrapers? Is there like a meaning to the buildings? Let me look up. Building meaning in literature. Buildings refer to the process of creating a complex layered text where the author carefully constructs elements that contribute to a deeper understanding and interpretation of the work. This involves crafting a rich and consistent world, developing compelling character. Oh, they're talking about like literal building. So maybe that's kind of what they're going for. Okay, skyscraper then. A skyscraper has multiple. So skyscrapers have layers. So just like the chapters literally have layers, it's he's conveying those layers of the characters visually through the vertical structure of the chapter. Cat, are you okay? You're like running around constantly. What is going on? He is like running around everywhere. So basically, I think I get it. The point of the vertical nature of the chapters is to convey the layers of their relationship. How many layers there are, how deep and how high the relationship rises. It's if you put all of the covers together, if you put like all the pages, if you put them together, they would literally be structured like a skyscraper, right? Like a building, and they all like intersect like that. So it literally conveys the how large and tall their relationship is. That's kind of cool. That's my first interpretation. There could be a different one, but that's a really interesting thing. What is going on? Are you okay? Why are you wet? What in the hell happened to you? What is going on with this dude? Are you okay? Okay, he's gone. Still freaking out and running around. I don't know what's wrong with him. Um, Maybe I'm going too deep, but what do you see between the panels, bars? Well, no shit. Maybe no shit. Yeah, no, you're not. You're not technically wrong. No shit. Um, but no, like I wasn't so much like because you can do that. Like, see here, you can do that here. But most of the nature of the panels is vertical. There's an intention behind it. Why show tall buildings in the beginning? Why show the vertical nature of that? I think it's just supposed to convey like how their relationship has been built up until this time, right? The layers of it, right? That could be it. Maybe there's a deeper meaning to it in literature. Like what do skyscrapers convey in literature? Let's just look it up again. Skyscrapers can serve as a backdrop for exploring social inequalities, the impact of modernization in human life, and the search for meaning in a complex and rapidly changing world. Huh. I don't know if he thought of it that much. That maybe. Because like usually like when you think skyscraper, you think aspirations and achievements and shit like that. But maybe foundation, stability, that could be more of the meaning, the foundation and the stability of it. Cat is excited about the latest Friend to Girlfriend chapter. Maybe. I've never seen him freak out this way. I don't know what the fuck's going on with him. Maybe I need to like open the door and let him out. Okay. Making sure we're still on the right page. Okay. Here, let me go let the cat out. I'll be right back. Oh, you're here. Why are you here? What the hell? Okay, I guess he'll sit here with me. I don't know what's going on, cat. You can chill here. Oh, okay. He's enjoying the company. Is that the same cat from Mizuhara's backyard? No, it is not. He is not a black cat. Mine is a black cat. Okay, sorry about that. Where were we? Okay, so explored the vertical nature of the chapter. Let's see what people had to say. That would be so funny. So Eddie Man says, Faye, what happens if you're totally wrong about the chapter and the next one is both of them thinking of the aftermath and get ice cream and walk home? That would be genuinely so fucking funny. I would be so goddamn hoodwinked, but it would be strange. And it would match the strangeness of the chapter. Like, so, the chapter is strange, right? I don't feel like I'm okay with being wrong. Look, I was technically wrong here. If you remember my stream where we did the deep analysis, I said Chizuru wouldn't really be able to give him an answer, and yet she did. Chizuru did. Like, the answer isn't clean, mind you. The answer Chizuru gives here isn't clean, mind you, but she gives an answer, but it's not a clear answer. So I wasn't technically right if you're basing this off of the last stream we did. I was wrong, right? So I don't mind if I'm wrong. I'm okay with that. Like, so it's cool if I'm wrong. It's just interesting, right? Like, what is Reiji cooking? And like, he is subverting our expectations, right? Like, I think he is subverting our expectations a lot and playing with them. And I think we have to he's kind of trying to find a perfect balance between giving us exactly what we want and then subverting that at the same time, like pulling the rug from under our feet in a way that, like, I think he's really trying to find a perfect balance as a writer with giving the audience what they want and at the same time, like, delivering the story he wants to tell. And that really feels like what Reiji's kind of doing right now, especially considering a lot of people like don't understand what Reiji's saying in his writing, and he's aware of that. He knows that. So he's trying to find a balance right now without like losing the meaning of what he's trying to say. And I think Chizuru's answer very much kind of reflects that. It is totally in her character. And yet at the same time, it has that underlying meaning that feels like something is off. And even if they get together, I feel like something would be a little weird. And it feels like something is weird. It doesn't feel like something is weird, dude. I can't pin it down. Like, Kazi keeps like throughout the day, like, okay, what do you do in a story when you're presenting it? You have the story's actual events that are playing out mirror the conclusion and how characters act and what characters do in some way, shape, or form. What has Chizuru been like this entire time? She's been like an attraction, like a roller coaster. 1 minute you're excited and things are going great. The next, something feels wrong, or it's in reverse. Something feels wrong initially, and then you're excited and it feels great. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? And you keep getting mixed messages. That literally happened when they were at the restaurant. When they went to the hot pot place, straight up happened. Kazi is like, I keep getting mixed signals. I'm so fucking confused. And that is literally that right now, I feel like you're having the high, that you had the initial low, now you're having the high, and now you're like, where do we go from here? Right? And 380 possibly being the resolution to this chapter, I feel, or this arc, is gonna be interesting, right? Like, it's very hard to predict. Like, I would not be surprised if I'm wrong in some way, shape, or form. I have predicted chapters in the future. There have been chapters where I've straight up predicted things, and there have been times where I've just been straight up wrong, and I'm okay with being wrong. I think it's a good way to learn. Think back at another pair of towers and how people moved on and how it changed their world forever. No, 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 no. We're not gonna talk about that. I do not want to get demonetized. And no, that's definitely not what he's talking about. No. Interesting. Reiji featured the Cialia Odaiba Towers. Those are the real buildings. Okay, so let's look those up. Cialia Odaiba Towers, meaning they have a backstory. So images. So let's pull these up so you guys see them. These are the towers. These are literally the same towers. Okay, so is there a backstory to these towers? There's some. The Skyscraper Center. History, maybe? Maybe culture? Like, what do they mean? Culture. Weird. They're residential towers. Interesting. They're both innovative. Interesting. It's weird. I'm not pulling up much. These are literally just this is just the city council telling me what these buildings are. Let's see. Story? Is there a story behind them? Because there's always a story behind the things Reiji shows. This seems interesting. Let's read this real quick. Go gotta hand it to Reiji. We did his research when he drew the Odaiba scenes. The boat. Yeah, there was a boat in the background. Odaiba is an island in Tokyo Bay that was made artificially in the 1850s and has been developed as a major commercial area. Okay, I went there a couple of weeks ago just to check it out and meet up with the friends who work there. It was pretty cold, but the island is still very broad walk-like, and I think it would be best in the summer. I think it's best known for having a giant Gundam robot, which I only caught a glimpse of. The area I went to was mostly huge malls, but I didn't stop. I didn't shop. After getting some coffee, we just walked around by the water and looked at the lights across the bay for a long time. I went around dusk, so everything was turning on, and it was really beautiful, especially with the reflections sparkling in the water. It's kind of a long train ride there, but it's kind of worth it for the scenery. And if you go there, I highly recommend taking Yoroko Mama Monorail to get there. The first time I went on, I was really confused because I thought I could just be transferring to another subway or regular railway, but when I stepped into the car, I saw the seats were like a real train, like two rows. Yep, 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 yep. Tokyo Tower, Sky Tree, as well as huge Ferris wheel and some really cool buildings. It goes big circles. It's really a coupley place. I later learned, especially around Christmas. The Christmas season is for couples in Tokyo, so beware if you're single. On the boardwalk, there was a big gazebo type thing of Christmas lights wrapped all around it. We could stand in it with your partner and had to face each other and look into their eyes, and the Christmas songs would start playing. It was horribly cheesy. But my friends really wanted to stand in it together, so we did. When we were stepping out, we realized there had been a group of slightly half-drunk Japanese businessmen watching us and giggling. When we finished, they said, "Will you take a picture of us?" And we all piled in the gazebo together to pose. It was hilarious. Interesting. They were built 2 years, much like Kazuya and Chizuru's. Wait, what? They were built in 2 years? Wow. Okay. He really is striking a parallel between the two characters. They were built in 2 years. That's so funny. Just read the chapter. Glad I caught the stream on time. Yo, what? So the buildings parallel? That's so interesting. That is really interesting. So okay, so that's what he's doing. That's why he has the buildings. That's why he has the presentations. The buildings were built around the same time. Damn. That's sick. That's really sick. That's actually super fucking cool. Okay. It's obviously against the terms. Most of all, I never thought I could allow myself to be someone's girlfriend. What happened? Hawaiians really made me think. Why did I do something like that? Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Hawaiians is an arc that wants you to think. Why did that thing happen? Why? Isn't it interesting, Chizuru? So isn't this interesting? I've asked so many times why. And yet here she is saying, why did I do something like that? Right? So she's asking herself why. There had to have been other ways to handle it, but the past month, the more I've gotten to know you, I've realized something. I think I might be in love with you. Okay. I think we went through the chapter a few times now. We've been at this for like 2 hours. I'm not quite sure what else to cover or what else to really discuss or talk about. I also have to unfortunately end the stream soon because I have some people coming in later. So I gotta finish up. I got some stuff to do. Oh, sweet. They posted the towers on K Manga. That's perfect. Kazuya got stunned for 2 chapters left. That'd be so funny. Kazuya just in stun lock. Chizuru hit him with that stun lock combo. He's locked in the fucking corner. Paradise Arc asks the question why when most people in the Anitubers ask us to turn our brains off instead. The irony. Yeah, pretty much. I want to think about this more, but I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say more. This is so interesting, but I have some stuff going on right now, so I might have to step away for a bit. Damn, so I'm late. Yeah, I'm sorry. This stream would be longer. Maybe I'll continue later in the day. Here, how about this? I might continue later on in the day. I think we should have more posts and stuff later in the day, so I can hopefully keep going later. I can just do another stream, and they can just come back later. But for now, I got some stuff to do, so I might have to step away. I'm sorry. It'll also give me time to clear my thoughts and like know what to say regarding the chapter and like talk about it more earnestly. Yeah. So I'll just do another stream later today, and we can talk about the chapter some more. Before you go, do you think Kazuya will be vulnerable next chapter? A big thing about this arc is being vulnerable, is opening up. So it's difficult to say. That's really difficult to say. I think the ultimate vulnerability would be them physically opening up, but that's hard. I think he should, but we don't know. It's really hard to predict. The next chapter is about love, so yeah, we're gonna explore that. I'm curious if the next chapter will end like this one. That would be so funny if it ends with like that look again. This exact panel structure again. It's really hard to predict next chapter. I honestly don't know. Yeah, letting it sit and would give everyone time to think on all of this. Yeah, there's a lot to process, and I'm not like I still genuinely think something feels a little off. But the building structure thing we were talking about, that the buildings were built in 2 years. Here, let me look up when were the Caesarea built, like just to make sure. When were they built? The Cecilia Air Buildings, also known as the Serial Intel, was completed in 2001. The tower is located one debit tower. Wait, Lawless Bacon, you said they were completed in 2004 and 6, but here it says they were completed in 2001. What's the deal, boyo? Do you have a link for that, for where you got that information? Can you send me a link to your info so you know we're not talking out of our butt again? That would kind of suck. That would be funny actually if they swapped them. Kazuya's on top, Chizuru's on bottom. I think it was the wrong towers. I feel dumb. Oh, come on. Lawless Bacon. You gotta work on this, man. This is twice now in one fucking stream. How old are Kazuya and Chizuru? Kazuya is supposed to be like 21 or 22. Chizuru's 21. Chizuru is not a bottom. Chizuru is not a bottom, that's for sure. I think Kazuya is like slightly more of a bottom, but I think they're both kind of tops low key. Yeah, I'll look into this more later. But yeah, so yeah, disregard that the buildings were built in 2 years because Lawless Bacon. Again, my fault for listening. Damn, bro, I'm trying not to roast you on stream, but this is twice now. Okay, I'm gonna step away. I'll see you guys later. I'll stream later in the day, and we'll talk about the chapter some more. Alrighty, take care, y'all. This was a really fun chapter. I'm very excited for next week. We'll have to see what else is there. I was not expecting this ending. Yeah, 2 years did sound kind of quick. Dumb Zuru. Bye-bye. Yeah, this was really fun. I'll see you guys later. I might stream it around like 4 p.m. Pacific time. So yeah, I'll see. Take care, y'all. It was really fun, and I'll see you later.